The people of Chicago are looking for answers. The people of Detroit and L.A. and New York and Cleveland and Miami and a lot of other large cities across the country are dealing with violence. The headlines scream at us, and particularly shootings and homicides and gang activity. And today on Chris Fabry Live, we're going to ask some good questions. We're going to look for some biblical answers. We're going to try to go on the ground, so to speak, on this issue that sadly has been with us a long time and is going to continue to be with us unless something changes. And the question is, what is that something? I am of a mind that this is not a legislative answer. It is not a question that could be answered any place but the human heart, the seat of our being, and we're going to talk about that and how God's involved. This is Chris Fabry Live. Welcome. Come on in. Thanks for joining us today. And if you think I don't live in Chicago, I don't live in a big city, this doesn't have anything to do with me, well, that may be true on the surface, but underneath is a deeper truth that this does affect you. If you look at the world news, the violence going on in Egypt may not affect you right now, but there are brothers and sisters in Christ who are going through it. And it's the same with the problems in big cities. You don't have to be around this issue very long, especially as it relates to gang activity, to know that there may be a hotbed of activity in the cities. I know this from living near Tucson, Arizona, and with all of the activity that's going on here, it's reaching into the suburbs and even rural areas that can be affected as well. So no one is immune. And if you look at the broader body, everybody is interconnected. So let's talk about it today. Here's the number, 877-548-3675. That's how to get in touch with us by phone. You can find us online at chrisfabrylive.org and see all the contact information there, as well as our links and our blog and past programs. If you didn't hear the program yesterday, Your Brain on God was kind of the topic, faith and your hypothalamus. You can go to chrisfabrylive.org to hear Dr. Tim Jennings. And I have to say, there were several times in the conversation yesterday where I had to laugh. And it was not, I wasn't making fun of anybody or anything that anyone said. It was just this laugh of recognition. I'm doing it now. It's a laugh of wonder. When I see something in nature, for example, that is just, it's astounding to me, one of the things that I do naturally is to just chuckle at it, because it's like, this is so complex. And when you hear someone who has studied the brain and the chemical response of the hypothalamus and the other, the prefrontal cortex and all of that, it's just, I marvel at people who do this kind of research and who look at this and who, to them, it's very simple. It's like doing complex algebraic problems, and to them, it's just, well, you'd go from here to there, and I don't get it, but they do. And so if you didn't hear that conversation, go on over to chrisfabrylive.org, and you can. Nate McMillan's our producer. Ryan McConaughey is our engineer today. And is Elizabeth, I forgot to ask, is Elizabeth with you? Yeah, Elizabeth Asaturos answering your calls at the toll-free number 1-877-548-3675. Eric Thayer wrote via Reuters yesterday, the military could soon be patrolling the streets of Chicago, Illinois, if a local lawmaker has her way. State Rep Monique Davis has asked the governor to deploy the National Guard among an epidemic of violent crime. She's 76 years old. She's a Democrat who represents Chicago in the Illinois House of Representatives. And she said yesterday that Governor Pat Quinn, should order both the Illinois State Police and the Illinois National Guard to assist with law enforcement efforts in the city in order to curb crime. Now here are the stats. More than 100 people have been shot in only the first 10 days of July. 20 people were shot during a single evening last month, and at least 72 victims were either injured or killed by guns and I would add, by people shooting guns, during the 4th of July weekend. Last year, a homicide tally that surpassed the 500-person mark set a new record for the city of Chicago, and there was a news conference in Springfield yesterday where Representative Davis said, I'm requesting with this press conference that Governor Patrick Quinn order the Illinois National Guard and the Illinois State Police to come to Chicago and work with our mayor, Rahm Emanuel, to provide safety for the children especially. Now, there were different people responding to that, and that's not what our program is about today, but let me read you the response of someone else. Representative Mary Flowers, who's also a Democrat in Chicago, talked to the Chicago Sun-Times. She says she disagrees with her colleague's plan, but hopes the governor will respond. I happen to disagree with calling in the state police and the National Guard, but what I do agree with is that the governor needs to do something. And I have bolded that, and I say that to you. The government, somebody needs to do something. And I think that is the feeling that everybody has. Somebody needs to do something. And there is a powerless feeling that you get here, a feeling of desperation, a feeling that you don't even want to look at the newspaper or the news reports online anymore because of, something bad's going to happen. And I was looking at Facebook this past weekend where Moody Radio Chicago station manager Roy Patterson put on his Facebook page, I just walked around the park where a 7-year-old was shot. I'm troubled by this crazy violence in Chicago. And Roy joined us last month when we talked about this issue with a mom who lives in Chicago and is asking some really big questions. Roy, what was it like walking around there knowing that this was, right down the street, this is what happened?
It was eerie, Chris. It was difficult. It was eerie because it's a beautiful neighborhood, Nat King Cole Park, around 84th, 85th, and King Drive. A lot of nice homes over there, a lot of hard-working people. I walk around this park. I train for the marathon in that area, and to think that this is the second time something like this has happened. The first time, a guy was showing his dad a new motorcycle he bought. He just got back from Iraq, and he was serving with the police, and some guys decided to jack him, to take the bike from him. Little did they know he was a police officer, and his father was a police officer. And so, unfortunately, that young man was killed. But some of the assailants were killed as well. And so, as I walked around the park, I just thought, we can't just let this be business as usual. And God, we need you to step in, and we need the people of God to rise up. So it was very troubling for me.
Yes. There's so many issues that are involved here and so many different ways that we could go, and just understanding the problem is not going to solve anything. But do you feel that sense of desperation with you and your family and with other people that are in the community?
Absolutely. As you know, Chris, 2 of my sons have been robbed at gunpoint. I've heard gunshots during the 4th of July. Our other guests in the room will relate to this. During the fireworks during the 4th of July, at a certain point you couldn't tell if they were gunshots or if they were fireworks. And so it was an eerie kind of feeling, and you just feel a sense of hopelessness. And so something does have to be done. I believe at a government level as well, but I think at a community level and a family level, we really need some help.
Well, and that's what I want to get to, because the governmental involvement and the police involvement, there are people who are looking into that, and we can encourage that, and we can stay involved in that. The main question I have is, what can we do? What can you and I do? What can the church do? What can those who don't even live in that community? Is there anything other than pray? Not to say that prayer is not welcome here, but is there anything else? And we have a couple of guests who are coming along. We're going to meet them here in just a moment. I hope this is a program that you will not only listen to, but participate with. Chris Fabry Live today on Moody Radio.
Join the conversation. Call Chris Fabry Live now at 877-LIVE-675, 877-548-3675.